Yo, what's good, YouTube? You're here with Ori, your host, back with another Road to Ranked UU edition, back on that ladder grind. Last video was not tier list, but oh my god, just November tier changes. There we go. And this tier changed a little bit. Alomomola being gone is a little sad. I love that mod with my whole heart and soul, and you see, because of that existence, I had to make a new team. And delete all the other ones with Alomomola in it. And I'm not gonna lie, all of them had a Alomomola. Like, it's kind of difficult, but all of them did have a Alomomola on them with Wish Regenerate. It's such a good idea, right? Thank you to Pink Across for making that, but also, I hate you a little bit because you made it OU. Everybody loves that mod now, even seeing use in like UUbers and stuff like that. But continuing this, right? I have this Ogerpon set, right? I made the set same here, but I wanted to make some changes because Salament's like surprise factor, really cool mon. I love this, but it wasn't working. And so I was like, all right, let's make an Ogerpon team, and we're just gonna call it Ogerpon for now, right? I don't know which way I'm gonna go with this. I kind of want it to be more like focused around offense, so it means we have to go for all of the different resistances, right? So with Ogerpon, you're weak to, I'm not going to pull up a type chart, but you're weak to poison, flying, fire, and ice. Those are the 4 types that I recognize off the top of my head that you are weak to. Oh, and bug. That's 5. So bug as well. So like, what helps you against those types? Steel helps you against bug, flying, and poison. Really good thing. Really, really good. So, like, you want to add a steel type. You always want to have a steel type on your team, by the way. Always want to have a steel type on your team. So, we look at our options and we're like, what gives us the most mileage just generally, right? Because you can go Empoleon, This helps you against the steel. It's neutral to fire. Poison, bug resistance, things like that. Also has a steel resistance, which is really nice. You could go Goodra, also neutral to fire. You could go Iron Treads. Great mon, very good utility mon. You could go Scizor. I'm not gonna go Jirachi. I'm sorry. I love this mon. My whole heart and soul, I love that mon. I just can't fathom using it. This low-key looks like a move. Tinkaton's really good at setting stealth rocks, getting speed control, Thunderweaves on things. Gigaton Hammer. I usually use Play Rough, but Gigaton's also really good. Knock in the Encore. But I'm thinking, Empoleon dropped. Why not use it, right? This mon is really good for beating things like. Hold on, I have a name for this. It's not good. I don't know why I want to name it that. Oh, actually, I do know why, cause. Ta-da! But this mon's really good. You got your Flip Turn, Surf, and I'm gonna go Roar and Stealth Rocks. Roar just because there's like things like Cress who are annoying, and I don't know yet if I'm gonna have a counter to it, because if I do have a counter to it, then I'm just gonna make this like Ice Beam or something. Or no, Roost. That's what it's supposed to be. So depending on if we have, like, if we can continue and we make a thing that can battle Cress at least, this will either be Stealth Rocks or it's going to be Roar. But now we have a Steel type. Now we're like, okay, we need a Ground type. And does the ground type take over the job of this, right? So like, let's look at ground types here. And a ground type that resist what? Bug specifically, which is really good. But like, you have to look at the other things that will also help you resist. Gastro has the Storm Drain, but we don't need another water type. Doubling up on defensive things is going to be really bad for us. But having a momentum mon is also really good. But you have to worry about things like Volcanion, who, by the way, really good mon. Really, really good mon. Volcanion should have beast both of these mons. Flamethrower does insane damage to both. And just because this is neutral and specially defensive does not mean that it is just going to be better, right? Or it's going to beat it out. Especially when we have 2 moves that don't touch it. So, how do we beat Volcanion? How do we beat Dark types? How do we beat, like... Because if you're looking, Weavile is one of the biggest mons in the tier right now. Even though Gliscor isn't here, Weavile is still amazing, right? So you're like, ooh, And what we can do is like we can do different things. We can also like try and use this. This resists the ice type moves as well, but also resists Weavile's entire set, like entirely. And this also has Sap Sipper, which means that we're good versus like a Moongus, Breloom, but you want a huge power, right? Of course you want the huge power. You can use Sap Sipper. I think you use Sap Sipper on stuff like Whirlpool and stuff like that. Gives you another another immunity, which you're already immune to Dragon. So cool thing. I don't personally think I'm going to be using that, but you could also use more like Skeledirge. I think Skeledirge resists the poison, the fire, so it also resists steel. It also resists ice. You know, it does really well. So like even if we do Skeledirge here, Skeledirge can actually help with this mon a lot, offensively and defensively. This thing can't hit any grass type. It can't hit any poison type. This can, but I don't think we're gonna add Skeledirge. I'm okay at using him, not the greatest. So you're like, oh, I want a rapid spin mon, something that can defog, something like that, right? I think we're gonna go with a defogger, and because we're going with a defogger, I think that means I'm gonna make this roar. Let's make this roost and that roar, so it's in order, right? And so we're going with a defogger, which means that we won't really need spikes or stealth rocks. It's be really good for chip, but we can find other mods that do the same thing, right? And you know, a good defensive mon with defog that helps this a lot, right? Is this defensive? The poison types, you know, still hit you, but this will help versus, you know, the CCs coming in versus this. What else? Electric type moves, you know, we still get hit by, which means that we're gonna have to add a ground later. And I'm gonna show you guys a resource if you don't know about it later. But you know, you can go like Clear Smog as well. I actually like Clear Smog on this. You can also go Haze. Haze is always nice, but I think for that you have to go like super into speed, because most of the things that you want to haze are gonna be really good attackers, and it's just better to have defense. With Levitate, we can be on the ground type here, by the way. But boots, and we have a defogger with haze. You could also go Clear Smog. I think Clear Smog is good, but if you can't hit like steel types setting up, so it's really important, I think, that you have something that can just like get rid of stuff. But I might just go for like Sludge Bomb instead. First of all, let's do this. Things that threaten this are like mods that don't think I have Levitate, and that's not that many. People are pretty good at like viewing the situation. If you go minus here, go 31 here, and that means we can run a physical move, right? Like Gyro Ball or Facade or Play Rough. Play Rough would actually be really nice, but nope. I like my background. There's not a lot to take though. There's not a lot of physical moves. We can do it like Gunk Shot, but if we wanted to go Gunk Shot, we can just go Sludge Bomb, right? And this allows us to do this, which makes us take even less damage from those moves. I'm gonna go. There's a lot of, I'm thinking a lot. I'm sorry, I'm not explaining my process, but Weezing has no reliable recovery. Weezing needs things like Clodsire can't do anything to it, right? So you can take its HP or take it on Switchin's HP and stuff like that. I think that's really important. So I'm gonna go Pain Split instead of Sludge, because Sludge makes us weaker to steel types, which I think is important to think about. That's all. I'm talking really fast. It's mostly just because like I need to think the process out, and also it's like I want to use this mon, but I need it to make sense in my head before I just use it willy-nilly, right? So what else, right? You're like, okay, what other mons can you add to this team? We have 2 defensive backbones. One can actually like keep momentum, and one can't. But we have Will-O-Wisp to do even more chip. It also has Defog, which will help this get into range of doing like Swords Dance into Terra Grass, which gives us a +1 boost on speed, right? So you're like, okay. Again, I don't know what to name this, so you guys tell me in the comment section what you want that to be named. But yeah. That so far we have a core, but we need another offensive mon, right? Now, if you look at offensive mons, what helps this offensively? this only hits this doesn't hit a lot of stuff, right? So you're still struggling versus, you know, Amoonguss, Breloom, Breloom, Clodsires taking neutral, Enamorus takes 0 damage. So what's a mon that can help on the offensive side? And you're like, I'm not gonna lie to you. 2 poisons and you're like, okay, you're crazy, but oh no, this one's not weak to ground and this one's not weak to psychic. So this actually gets helped a lot. And I like Scarf on this one specifically, because you know that 130 goes crazy. But Specs does do a lot of damage. Curse Body is the only one that you can use. I think going Ghost fully is nice on this. Shiny Gengar. You know, we doubling up on having like, oh, we don't double up on having a grass weakness, but we double up on having a psychic weakness. And also, this has a weakness to like, this can't take a lot of things well versus this can, so we don't have to worry too much. And this also helps the defensive backbone. We have to worry about ground types, which both of these fix, right? So like we're going down the process and there's things that we are blocking actively. One of the things we still are not blocking, which our team is still weak to, is fire. So you're gonna need either a fire type like Volcanion, which we could add, but we're doubling up on water. And water means we're both weak to electric. The only thing that resists electric is Ogerpon Ricky, my boy Ogerpon, right? You could go with an electric type, you know, Iron Hands, who would make us weaker to ground, but we also have really good ground type counters, right? But this one's also really good with SD, right? SD Drain Punch helps with the tier a lot. We could go with like an AV set on something, which would help us with our bulk a little bit more, like Azumarill. Azumarill would also help, I guess not that much, but another one we could also do is this. This just hits everything instead of Gengar. And we'd have E-Speed too, which is priority. You know what? Let's try that. I think we're gonna go this and see how this does. Kamui. Don't ask me about it's gold. I like gold doggo. We can go band here. Band for band. And that means we get stronger E-Speeds. Not extra sensories. E-Speed. You get Head Smash, Flare Blitz. And what else can we use? Let's look at physical moves, right? You're like, what else can we use? CC is a really good move. Iron Head. But most of the mons that I think you use Iron Head on, you can also just use Flare Blitz on and just KO twice. Wild Charge is a great move. Especially when you have, you know, Rock Head. So I'm going to use Wild Charge. That'll help us against water types. That thing they can switch in. You're like, oh, I don't want to use Head Smash, right? Because you're like, oh, I'm at Miss. So you're just like, all right, let's go this instead. And I'm going to go Jolly, of course, because this thing needs its speed. The damage it does is great, but I'm more scared of missing a Head Smash and not being able to follow up with something. Or like switching out and being scared. So we just create more of utility offensive mons. Again, Treads here is fine, I think, but I'm not going to. We have to get out of the dumps, bro. Let's look at steel types, right? Steel types do a lot for our team. I think. Oh, we have a steel type already. Oh, do we need another one? Because Empoleon's good as a steel type, but. What do we need on this team? Do we resist everything? No. We resist steel. Oh, let me show you the guys what the thing I was talking about. Maryland.com. Now, what this helps you does is find your resistances and everything like that, right? So you're like, okay, let me input this on Ogerpon. Teal Mask. Weezing. Might as well Weezing. But Galarian Weezing. With Levitate, right? Arcanine Hisui. With, oh, you don't need Flash Fire. And then our last mon is Empoleon. Right? And you're like, okay, what are we still weak against? We still don't really have a electric resist. We do not have a ghost resist at all, which, by the way, super duper important. So we have a resist here, resist here, resist here, resist here, but we don't want to take damage from that. It's easier to just have a ground type, right? So let's make sure we get a ground type. We could do Clodsire. I think Mammoth Swine would be pretty good for us. Mamo is just strong, generally. Sandy Shocks would be really good as well. Sandy Shocks would be really good. And it would keep the pivot. I like this. I like this. But instead of Terra Grass, what are we weak to? We're weak to Ice, Water. Why don't we just go Water? It means we resist Water, resist Fire. You gotta resist Fire. We don't resist Grass. We could go Steel. But setting up spikes. Oh, we can't do spikes set. You have to do like Thunderbolt here, right? And if we're doing that, I think Booster Energy is just better. Because having like a bunch of speed is just really good for us. Are there Mons that have Scarf that we need to outspeed? I guess we can just keep it like that, right? And run the Booster Energy set. Which is this. Stealth Rock, we don't have to worry about too much because, defogging Stealth Rocks is not a big deal. Yes, I'm corny. Deal with it. This is to get the speed boost. Okay, nice, thank you. Because Lord knows I was about to just do this and we were gonna be absolutely hornswoggled. But yeah, 48. And then so we're like, okay, we have Sandy Shocks now. So what else helps us, right? Immune to electric. We're immune to dragon. We need something that we have 3 things that resist fairy. And pretty well actually. We have 2 steel resist, one that resists steel 4 times, one resists to steel's half. We still don't have a ghost resist, so like, okay, let's look for a dark type that's like solid defensively. You have things like, you don't have anything in this tier that resists ghost immediately. You could go like Moltres Galar, which would add to like Double Dance. You could go Bisharp. You could go Muckalola. There's a lot of things you can choose here. T-Tar would not work on this team. Just because, well, Spadefmon that can do damage. Interesting. I'm gonna go say no. The only thing resists Ghost. I'm gonna images. Go here and you're like, what resists Ghost, right? One thing, Dark. Okay, so yeah, you have to go Dark type. I was like, I feel like it's only Dark. But I don't want to make assumptions because I've been wrong multiple times about things. Like, fire doesn't resist fighting. You're like, oh my god, how could you ever think that? Don't worry about it, alright? Don't worry about it. I do what I want. And I think what I want, right? You feel me? This can go. So now because we have a defogger, right? I'm gonna make this a particular set that I enjoyed watching. This. I do whatever I want. I say whatever I want. The money for fun. There was a team. I think Blunder used it, right? And it had this on it. Foul play though. Body press. It doesn't get body press. Foul play, Roost, Toxic. Toxic, Roost, Iron Defense, right? Great set, Defeats a lot of things. And Toxic's just great on this mon. But that means we don't have to run defog, right? Which means that we get an extra slot for things like this. So, go defensive. We don't need offense on this. We don't need an offense on this, right? And that kind of, I think we'll wrap it up for our team. Mandy, of course. And you guys, if you want to, you can name this. Please do not name it anything like Chernobyl. Yeah, I'm gonna win this Wheezing's up to y'all. If you want it named, throw it out there. I don't know what to make this Terra. Fire, water, grass. This one can go flying. Can it? Let's make it grass, right? Because what's it weak to? Fire? We went pure water. Pure water is a much better typing. Weak to electric. Grass is fine though, because now we beat electric types. Okay. And then Mandy can go like... What can this go? What can this go? I feel like Dark's fine. We're not weak to fighting or anything like that. Might be asking yourself, how do you beat other Arcanine Hisuis? I'm gonna Terra and destroy it from the inside. And it's got no. Okay, I'm chilling, and this also works as well. But yeah, I'm looking at the team and I'm thinking I'll decide the terror on this later. I think mostly think this is weak to this is weak to fairy. If we just made it fairy, I think fairy's fine. Fairy's pretty cool. A ground type with levitate, literally clay doll. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of this episode. I just wanted to get a little bit of team building and see how this works later, because I don't think it's gonna be great, but I don't think it's gonna be terrible either. This team looks a lot better than the teams I made in the past. So yeah, I'm gonna see y'all in the next episode. I'm gonna show it on ladder, of course, and we'll get to it. Thank y'all for coming along. See you next time.